Hey there, and welcome back. And if you're new, welcome in. So, as of today, or at least recording, the pretty much new banners came out, which honestly, pretty nice, not gonna lie. And of course, there's this disaster. It's like, I still think they should have used the other ones. What is it called again? Acquaint. They should have used the acquaint face instead of the. Instead of intertwine, but it's whatever. We can't really do anything about this now. And another thing that sucks about this, it's like, bro, it's like the monthly one too. They should at least make this one 2 months or 3 months. On top of that, they should have made an intertwined face, but it's like, whatever. Anyways, the main concept is Itto is on one of the reruns, so I'm gonna be doing a little quick guide about him. So let's just get right into it. So one of his most important stats is defense, which you're gonna usually want to stack a decent amount as well. So let's check his overall stats. So we got 57 over 201 for crit rate over crit damage. Energy recharge, we got 111. Shield strength, technically it's gonna be 15. And let's see, geo damage, we have a 46.6. And then next we're gonna go into the weapons. So his overall best in slot is gonna be the red horn. For most, well, some claymore users, I should say, red horn is an extremely good one because one, the pretty much defense boost. On top of that, the crit damage substat as well. And on top of that, whenever they do a normal or charge attack, their defense increases further, which just, it's gonna make your character beefy, whether they're based on defense or not. Overall, it's an extremely good weapon. However, when it comes to other good candidates, technically, Unforged is another good one because of the shield strength. On top of that, because you're gonna be having like a lot of, most Geo characters are shielders, so chances are you're gonna have a shield character on you on this team. If not, that's fine too, but then the passive of the shield increase isn't going to be as important. The next one would be technically Skyward Pride if you don't have those previous two, because it helps with the energy recharge, and on top of that, the attack is pretty good, and on top of that, it increases damage of all types by 10%, and on top of that, there is a 100% chance of, pretty much after using the elemental burst, there's going to be a vacuum blade. It's going to be like a physical type damage. You'll see the white usually. However, an extremely good 4-star that if you don't have those previous three is White Blind. It's this one's by far the, pretty much, if you ignore the 5-stars stats themselves, this one would most likely be his second best, because not only does it increase attack and defense by 12% for every normal or charged hit, which can stack up to what I can imagine 4 times. So that's what, technically around 48% increase, which honestly pretty good, not gonna lie. And on top of that, you're most likely gonna be getting the stacks themselves, since he's gonna be on field majority of the time, so it's gonna be pretty good. Also, technically you can use this one, the fish or sea lord, technically just for comedic reasons, but on top of that, it does a large amount of attack, but then again, you usually want to have defense. Another good technically option would be Favonius if you are lacking energy, although stat wise it will be kind of lacking. Although in order to get the little passive, you will have to build them a good amount with crit rate and crit damage, but as a main DPS, you're already going to be building them with that. Another option aside from for the 4-stars technically would be, where is it? I don't have it. It's gonna be pretty much the battle pass. I don't know what it's called because I do not have it. It's gonna be this one, Serpent Spine, which honestly helps with the crit rate, and on top of that, it, for every 4s of characters specifically, it'll increase the damage by 6%, which by refinement will increase further, which honestly is pretty nice. However, one cool thing about the, pretty much, where is it? About this one is craftable, and on top of that, you'll be able to get it at the beginning of the game if you're still new to the game as well, which overall, it's, out of the 4-star options, This one's by far, in my opinion, the best one. Next would be the Serpent, most likely. After that, probably Favonius. And if that doesn't work, or let's say you already have 5 stars, I'm gonna say no, Unforged, then Skyward Harp, and then Skyward Pride, apologies. Then it's gonna be the Redhorn, which by far is an extremely good weapon. That's all I'm gonna say. Now for the artifact sets, it's right here. This will help you perfectly fine, because the Husk is the best artifact set for this guy, if I'm being 100% honest. Because what, it already increases defense by 30%. On top of that, whenever you do geo damage, it gives you stacks to then do even further increased damage. For instance, for each stack up to 4 times, increases your defense and geo damage by 6%, which honestly, it's extremely good, especially with him. Of course, you can always go with like a 2-piece Husk and then a 2-piece attack boost, or I don't think we have like a set defense boost. I know there's a 4-piece set for defense, but then again, by the time you're already getting 5 stars, I would recommend this one. But let's say if you can go with the Husk, and you can do a 2-piece Husk and this one, Petra. So you can get the defense boost, and on top of that, the 15% increase to geo damage as well, which honestly, pretty good. Now then, for the artifacts, you usually want defense, geo damage, and crit rate or crit damage, but usually crit rate if you have the Red Horn. But if you do not have the Red Horn, you might want to go with crit damage. And usually with this one, I'd recommend defense more, but you can technically go with energy recharge if you are having problems. But then again, there's a unit that can help with that. Well, 2 technically, but still. And then usually substat, you want crit rate or crit damage. Usually defense %, not flat, but flat is also welcomed as well. Now for the constellation, Dude works perfectly fine at C0. C1 pretty much gains 2 stacks of pretty much after using, I believe, his burst. Royal Descendant, yes. So pretty much after using his burst, he immediately has 2 stacks of, what are they called? It says right here. Gains 2 stacks of superlative. Pretty much these stacks will help with his charge attack, because in his burst, he grows this 1 mask behind him, which you'll see during this little showcase. And once the mask is fully visible, you'll be able to do charge attacks for I'm gonna say a decent amount of time. Because if you try doing charge attacks in his burst without having the mask properly, you're not going to be doing charge attacks, which honestly kind of sucks in my opinion. But it's overall, he still functions pretty good. You just need to do geo hit damage. But the moment you do his burst, his sword will be infused with geo. So you can easily get the stacks. C2 pretty much will... Each party member that's geo will decrease the skill cooldown, and on top of that, restore 6 energy to Itto, which honestly pretty nice. This increases his C4 and C3 increases his skill, C5 increases his burst, and then for C4 pretty much at the end of his burst, pretty much all the teammates will gain a 20% defense and attack buff for 10 seconds. And lastly, for C6, pretty much his charge attacks deal 70% crit damage additionally, so he's going to be doing a lot more damage. C6 is usually big number gets bigger. Now then, for his talents, you usually want to prioritize technically his normal... Oh yeah, I forgot. It tells you what artifacts you need as well, which honestly pretty cool, not gonna lie. So it makes you so you know what to farm for. But enough of that. So normally you want to go with normal attack, burst, then skill. Skill's nice and all, but it's not that needed. You mostly use it to gain a quick stack of a stack to grow the mask in a sense. And with that mask being fully grown, you'll be able to do charge attacks for a decent amount of time. And on top of that, each slash, pretty much every single time you attack, his damage will increase. which you usually want to have ready for his ultimate or burst. Apologies, I'm thinking about Star Rail. You usually want to have the stacks just ready for his burst. And then for this one, his damage is increased by 35% of Itto's attack, which is one of the main reasons why you want to have defense as his main stat. And this just increases the chance of you getting additional logs, but that's that. His overall stats for, I already told you the other stats, but it's going to be 21k for HP, 1k for attack, 2k for defense, and technically he has some elemental mastery, which is not really important, but it's always nice to have just in case. But let's just get on with the showcase. Also, and when I mentioned that there's a character that helps with its energy recharge, just in case, you usually have Garo. If you don't have Garo, I'd probably recommend him for a pure Geo team. On top of that, just slap on Favonius, give him some crit rate, and energy is no longer a problem. 1, 2. You see those little 4 masks? That little mask slowly forming. The more that mask pretty much is there, by there, he should be able to like easily. Ooh. As you'll see, for each charge attacks, it's gonna be taking one of those little masks off. And by that time, you'd be able to do launch, I'm gonna say 2 charge attacks, if anything. Is the dude already dead? No, not even. Couldn't be. Here we go. Come on. Oof. But yeah, so the more stacks that this mask in the back he has, the longer his charge attacks will be, which honestly you usually want to do in Goro. If you want to build a team around around Itto, Goro is by far the best unit you can have. Also for team comp, I ended up using Geo Traveler, even though you would most likely want to have, where is he, Albedo, or like I mentioned, Zhongli. And then with Zhongli, technically you can go, let's say if you don't have Red Horn, that's when the Unforged would come in handy, especially with the increased shield as well. However, this only works with the character that currently has a shield, so. But honestly, that's about it. Overall, dude's pretty fun to play with. Just an easy, just 1, 2, just get stacks. The moment you have this mask up, just use his burst and then just charge attack away. And then overall, after that, you're set. So yeah, and on top of that, what Goro's usually always presented in his banner too, so you're at least guaranteed to get 1 Goro, hopefully, if you're, unless you're that unlucky, and then maybe a few of his constellations. But if you're not going for Goro and you're going for Chiori, best of luck regardless. She's also a Geo character, which Goro can still work with her as well. So yeah, also I'd personally stay away from this banner unless you have a certain weapon or character that pops up that you haven't seen in a while and you kind of want to get low-key. But if you don't, then don't waste your time with this banner. But that is about it. So if you ended up enjoying this quick little guide-ish video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And until next time, later nerds. Take care.